Well, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. This is Dan Nelson. You probably know that if you're joining me, but maybe not. There's always new people coming on board. Welcome. You may have seen I did this painting on location this morning, about 9 miles from my home. I have some photographs here that I'm using as reference now. One is a general big photograph of the big tree, and then several detail shots. So that's what I'm using as a reference at this point. And I'm all the way down to what I've just called a minute ago, as you see there, the translucent layer. Sometimes I call this the fuzz layer. I could also call it the glow layer. Translucent fuzz glow, and I could also call it the local color. So this is a new layer to me. I started about 7 months ago, and it seems to be sticking around. So it looks like it's going to be something I'm going to continue to do. In the olden days, before 7 months ago, I used to go straight from here to the final layer, which was light opaque highlights, even though many of those opaque bits were actually translucent. I called it light opaque highlights. Now I am not calling it that. Now I'm interjecting a new phase, a new stage, and I've called it the fuzz layer, or the translucent layer. And it is just like it sounds. It's a very soft edge, using white in the paint. So it is opaque, except that I'm applying it very thinly, very, very, very thinly. So the effect is translucent. This is also called scumbling, by the way. There are 4 things I want to accomplish in this stage. One is I want to give the illusion, the feeling of glow. Glow and fuzz, soft edges, are almost synonymous. That is how you achieve glow, is in oil painting, is by giving an object a soft edge, very soft edge, like I'm doing here. I want to give the feeling of sun hitting the ground on the far side of the tree. And you may ask me, well, was this happening when you were there? The answer is no. Are you kidding? Not a bit of it. What was happening when I was there was absolutely gorgeous. It was just hard to imagine a more perfect fall day than I experienced this morning out at this historic. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know why my video stopped recording, so I'll just keep on. Whatever you missed, you missed. I am in the middle of my translucent fuzzy layer. And by the way, do let me know if my sound is misbehaving. I came home and worked on it again. I believe it's simply a matter of a weak battery transmission. I am learning that I can't even charge my batteries leave them overnight. So that's amazing that it won't even hold an adequate charge. Charge it all up midnight the night before, get up the next morning, and the charge is not strong enough to do the job. So that's what I have learned today. Okay, let's talk about sky holes again. Are you are you sick and tired of talking with me about sky holes? I wouldn't blame you if you were. So if you've had it up to here with sky holes, then just turn me off and come back later. So this is for people that haven't joined me perhaps lately, because seems like I've been talking an awful lot about it. Okay, are you ready? This is for all you aspiring painters. You want to paint well, you want to paint trees well, and you've heard about the ubiquitous sky hole. Now, first of all, let's quibble about the name. They should really not be called sky holes. I don't know which artist started that title, but they should be lined up and slapped with a wet paintbrush. I'm positively medieval in my tortures. It should not be called sky holes because here, sure enough, it's the sky behind the tree, but many times it is not at all the sky behind the tree. It's a building or a cliff or a mountain or other trees that are behind the tree, at which time it would be a building hole or a mountain hole or a tree hole or a... You got my point. So, okay, enough of that quibbling, but we are stuck with what we're stuck with. Here we are. The name for these holes in the tree is called sky holes. Now, here's what I have observed, is students who are learning how to paint, they hear about sky holes, and they see sky holes, and they go, yippee, sky holes. And then they commence to try to incorporate them into their paintings. And that's where the wheels begin to fall off. Because, Mama, nobody told me it was going to be so difficult. Turns out sky holes are pretty hard. And if you don't think so, just go look at a bunch of student paintings. You go, they must be hard, because a lot of people do them really badly. Okay, so here's your primer, your class on sky holes. Number one rule. Again, I'm talking way beneath some of you, so bear with me. The color of the sky holes needs to be exactly. Did I say that yet? Did I say the word exactly? Did I say it twice? How about 3 times? Exactly, exactly, exactly. That makes a total of 5 so far. Woo! Oh my goodness, I hope somebody out there is listening. Because believe it or not, some student that's listening to me still didn't get the message. Believe it or not, they still didn't get the message that the color of the sky hole needs to be precisely the same color as the sky. You can tell I speak from much anguish of soul. Oh my goodness, this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a difficult concept, but evidently it is. Okay, it needs to be exactly the same color as the sky. So help me, if you screw up, I do not want to see your painting. If you do not get that right, I do not have the patience to look at your painting. Don't even make me look at it. Okay, number 1, same color. That's the easy part. Now, after that, it gets hard. Now, should sky holes... and first of all, where to put them, I'm not even going to go there. That's completely another matter. First of all, you look at your reference, you look, where to put them, look. And then secondly, you can learn about the anatomy of a tree. There is anatomy, there is structure in trees. Every kind of tree has its own structure, and most artists would do well to learn, in this case, what does a mighty oak in North Carolina, part of the world, what does a mighty oak in the autumn look like? What structure does it have? So that helps you tell you where to put the sky holes. Here's the part I want to get to. So didn't even answer the question, where do they go? Because that's too big. That's a matter of lifelong study. Maybe we'll do the anatomy of trees another time, not today. Okay, here's a question I want to address. Do sky holes have soft edges? Should they have soft edges or hard edges? The answer may surprise you, because the technically correct, precise, if you will, scientifically correct answer to that question is both. More soft edges than hard edges, unless you are an up-and-coming, emerging, struggling to get better, not professional painter. I'm trying to be nice. Unless you're not very good, unless you're still not very good, then forget all that hard edge, soft edge stuff. If you're an up-and-coming student, all of your sky holes should have hard edges. Listen to me again. If you're an up-and-coming student, wannabe, beginning artist, I don't know, whatever you want to call yourself, I'm trying not to be offensive here. I'm failing, but I'm trying. If you're an up-and-coming artist, your sky holes need to be hard-edged. Here's why, and again, it's very strange, even though technically that's not correct. But until you learn what a sky hole really is and how it works and what it looks like, you need to make your edges hard. After you've achieved success in the hard-edged sky hole department, then you can make some of them soft. And that's the answer is some should be soft and some should be hard. But if you're a student, they should all be hard, because left to your own devices, left to yourself, student, you will make all your sky holes soft, not because that's what you're seeing or because that's your scientific or analyzed analysis, but it's simply because you're bad at handling a brush. And your sky holes are soft edge because of your immature handling of the brush. Whew. Now, who's going to volunteer to receive that counsel? I just insulted you 17 times backwards, upside down. But in every student sky holes that I've ever seen, they were all soft and fuzzy and very unbelievable, very, very not convincing as sky holes. So you need to learn to do them hard first and then come back and do them soft. Now, I'm doing, right at the moment, I'm trying to do all my sky holes here soft. I failed somewhat, so I'm actually going to use a little trick here. I've got a fan brush, and I'm just coming in here and softening all those marks that I just made. Thankfully, almost everything under this light blue is almost completely dry. Not totally dry, but dry enough that I can get away with doing this. Okay, because right now I'm doing soft sky holes. I will come back later and do hard edge ones. Okay. In other words, I'm so serious about doing some hard and some soft sky holes that I'm doing all of my soft ones first, or trying to anyway, slipping up occasionally and doing some hard edges. So then I just came back and softened even those. Okay, that's as much as I'm going to say about it was plenty too much. They say, my students say, enough already. Okay, but I hope somebody who needs to hear that, Lord help me, if I go to the state fair and see one more painting with sky holes, I don't really go to the state fair that often, but I use it because that's one of the places where I get to see many student paintings, besides when I'm judging in local art competitions, things like that. Okay, and it's getting rather boring in here, so I'm going to leave you alone. Which means I'm going to hang up. I use the term hang up because you're on a phone, of course. Old habits die hard. Let me see if you've left any comments before I go. Hello, BJ. Thank you. Appreciate it. Looking good. Very cool. Big ATT. Very cool. Thanks. Like the face there. Toby, good to have you back. So I'll be back again later this afternoon. Thanks, you guys, for watching. And stay tuned if you want. Hope I'm not driving you crazy. Bye-bye.